Ready?
On the shift, come on.
Welcome to Silverstone. God has been like a major part of racing for me. Because racing is primarily an engineering world, it's quite a scientific world. And the argument of religion versus science is a raging debate that people, go on about all the time. But it's quite difficult to find other Christians inside the racing world. I've raced here every year since 2013. So quite a few years. At the moment we're second in the championship. And so realistically we need to be looking at just consistently finishing in the best places possible rather than trying to win every race and not winning every race because we've run out of tyres or we've got the wrong strategy or something like that. And annoyingly, Silverstone is probably the most difficult round to get strategy right on because we're going to have 4 stints. A stint is me getting in the car for 45 minutes and then changing to David. So we have 4 of those, which is more than what we normally have. Normally we just have 2 stints, but because we have 4 stints we have to think about our tyre usage, and normally our tyres can last up to about an hour, but we're considering using tyres for 2 stints, so using them for an hour and a half, which we've never actually done before. So it might be a gamble, it might not be, I'm not sure. Should we go down to the car? That's what it gets.
I'm David Pittard. Myself and Alex are currently racing in the British GT Championships. It's a 7-round championship. You are a team together, so one result will affect both of you effectively. And with him being nominated sort of Motorsport News AM Driver of the Year last year within GT4, he's one of the perfect candidates to go with me. Then since I've got to know him, I know he's a very intelligent, cool-headed, relaxed driver, and I think that's exactly what you need, really.
So I started racing in corporate karting, sort of at your arrive and drive kind of places, for probably about a year before I moved into a race sort of class called Minimax. And this is sort of your much faster go-karts. They go about 70 miles per hour. And I did that for about 2 years. And then I moved straight into cars at the age of 14. So I was racing in a Ford Fiesta ST 2005 model, 2-litre engine, 150 brake horsepower. It was quite a beast for a 14-year-old. I moved into Clio Cup cars. So these are sort of Renault Clio's 1.6-litre engines, about 240 brake horsepower, quite an upgrade from the Fiesta. After that, moved into Lotus Cup UK, and this was in a Lotus Exige V6 Cup R. I moved into British GT in 2016 with Lanham Racing. We started racing in a Ginetta G55. A GT car is a road car converted into a race car, closer to what you would be driving on the road rather than what a Formula 1 car is. It's fully, shelled out. It's got a proper race engine and lots of other race sort of dynamics inside the car. This is going to be a little sort of tour of the garage and truck with Lanham Racing. Come inside the truck and I'll show you what's inside. This is basically during downtime. This will be where all the stuff is stored, so tyres, tools, the car, and during the race weekend that'll be where all the mechanics get changed. That's where they all sort of not hang out, but this is like the important area. More tools over here, more tools over here. It's quite important, and this is probably the most important thing in the truck: the coffee machine. Now the mechanics love their coffee, and without it, it would be a difficult weekend. Up here is the office. Chill out. We put our stuff in here, and yeah, sometimes we'll do data in here as well. And maybe when we want to be a little bit secret, we'll be in here. But otherwise, this is the office. So if we go down to the garage. This is the garage. So over the weekend, this is where everything happens, where the car is stored, where all the adjustments to the car are made, where people will be whilst the race is on. So this is the hive of Lanham Racing. So mostly in the back, this will be where guests are. It's where we store our tyres, where we store fuel, basic things like that. If we come through to this section, this area over here is our data center, so all of our data equipment, all of our computers are here. This is our timing screen, so people can see what's happening on circuit whilst we're out there. There's also TV, so you can see the live coverage. This is the main garage where the car is. So this is the car. Inside the car is David at the moment, my co-driver, David Pittard, and yeah. It's quite busy at the moment, but it's exciting, very exciting. By the way. There you go.
There are a number of high-profile girl racers out there, and yeah, they're bringing it to the guys.
One of the things that's notable about motorsport is there are a lot of politics, and when you're 11 years old you have absolutely no idea about any of it. So the cool thing for me is I got into it and I had no idea about being a girl or anything like that, and it's kind of stayed the same ever since. So yeah, I was in GT4 last year, and then these are F3 cars, so completely different. It's like going from maybe if you're a long distance runner going to be a sprinter, so completely different disciplines. And if I wanted to go to Le Mans later in the sort of down the line, or if I want to go to Formula One, it's just opened so many doors. So this is my race car. This is kind of my office for the weekend, so to speak. The colour, everything's sort of picked by me. Little bit sort of the team sort of kind of graphics, but I went with pink, which is obviously stereotypical girl, very cliche, but yeah, I quite like it. I think it stands out, which is what's important. The car is what you see, really. It's millimetres off the ground, front wing, rear wing, an F3, British F3 chassis. So it's Tatus with a Cosworth engine, about 230 horsepower. We like to sort of change the car over the weekend as the conditions, the track, everything changes. When it's a bit windier like it is today, it really makes a difference. So we're just always focusing on finding that optimal balance so that I can get the most out of the car. It's got quite a lot of downforce, and it's great for me going into single-seaters, learning about this. Yeah, I think I've got the best job in the world. I think who wouldn't want to be a racing driver?
I do quite a lot of gym training, lifting weights, doing that sort of thing about 4 or 5 times a week. The other side of training is sim training. Now this is driving in a virtual world, in a virtual car. So I'll be in the house driving, on a racing wheel, sitting inside a racing seat, and I'll be trying as hard as possible to drive to the limit inside a virtual world and driving like what I would in the real world. So from the comfort of your home, you can also race and be a race car driver. Racing is really dangerous.
There was a couple of weeks ago, someone hit that red concrete wall over there, and that was a really, really bad accident. The car was written off, £400,000 worth of car gone in an instant.
I had a crash in 2015 where I crashed at about 110 miles per hour into a barrier, and if you were in a road car, you'd be dead. But I believe that someone, said that day, not this time. Having God in your life is probably the most important thing that anyone could have.
On the ship, come on.